guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Fayy Lenee back with another video. And for today's video, I wanted to share with you guys an updated foundation routine. As most of you guys know, I am very oily, and it's been a little while since I've filmed a foundation routine for you guys. So there are a couple of things that I do differently from my last foundation routine. There are a couple new products that I use, a couple new tips and tricks that I have incorporated into my routine that help me to stay matte and oil free longer throughout the day. So I figured I would sit down and just show you guys my full-blown foundation routine so that you guys can see the steps from start to finish of how I apply my foundation to give me this matte but not overly dry looking base. And yeah, that's what today's video is going to be about. So before we get started, if you are new, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I hope that you enjoy it and find it helpful. If you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure that you give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel to become part of my fam here on YouTube. And if you are not new to my channel, then you guys already know what it is. So thank you so much for coming back. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the foundation routine. Alright guys, so to start off my foundation routine, the very first thing that I always do is prime my face. I used to think that primers were pointless and kind of a gimmick just to get our money, but the more that I have tried out different primers, I have kind of found a little concoction that actually does make a difference in my makeup application. So since I have oily skin and large pores, I like to do a mixture of oil controlling and skin smoothing primers. So to start, I'm going to use the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer and Setting Spray. I'm just going to spray this all over my face to prep the skin for the other products that we'll be applying on top. So once that kind of dries down and settles in, next I'm going in with the Fenty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. This right here has literally changed the game for me when it comes to applying my foundation and actually having it last throughout the day. I've noticed that whenever I use this product, my makeup literally lasts way longer than it would if I did not use it. And I'm literally scraping the jar. That is how much I love this and have been using it. I need to order another one. So I'm just gonna scrape out as much of this as I can and apply it all over my entire face. I'm kind of going ham right now. You don't really need that much of this primer, but you basically just want to apply it almost kind of like a moisturizer. But the thing I really like about this is, I don't know what it is, but it just really does a great job of helping to control oil. It doesn't really do an amazing job of like smoothing and mattifying the skin, but I do notice whenever I don't apply this down as my first primer, my skin tends to get oily a little bit more quickly than it would if I had used that primer. So I'm just going to apply that all over. And then next up, I'm going to go in with a smoothing primer. I have several smoothing primers that I really like, but lately I have really been enjoying the CoverFX smoothing primer and also the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Smoothing Primer. So I'm going to use the CoverGirl one today, just so that for those of you guys that may be on a budget, it'll show you guys or give you guys an affordable option. And I'm just going to pretty much apply this in the same areas that I just applied the other primer, focusing specifically on areas that you want to smooth. And for me, that's going to be right in this area and also down the center of my face. And then last but not least, I know this is a lot of steps, but I'm telling you guys, it works if you have oily skin. I'm going to go in with the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer, and this is going to be the final step to control the oil. That's what I use this primer for. So I like to apply this last because at the end of the day, the main thing that I'm trying to accomplish is controlling the oil on my face. So I want to make sure that my oil controlling primer is the last primer that I apply before I go in with foundation. Okay, so I know I'm looking a little crazy right now, but it'll all come together. So once I have all of my primers applied, usually the next step I'll go in with, if I decide to do it that particular day, is color correcting. Since we are doing a flawless foundation routine, I'll go ahead and show you that. So I'm actually going to be using this Maybelline Master Camo color correcting pen, and this one is in the shade Apricot. I'm pretty sure. Yes, Apricot for dark circles is what it says on the packaging. And I'm literally going to use it not so much for dark circles, but more so for dark spots. So pretty much anywhere on my face that I feel like needs a little bit of help as far as dark spots go, I'm just going to apply that to those areas, and then I'm going to go in and blend it out with my finger. And you can do as much or as little color correcting as you want, whatever your preference is, but this is good enough for me. So now that I have that blended out, I'm actually going to go in with the Cover FX Matte Setting Powder. If you are not new to my channel, you guys have heard me talk about this a ton. I have mine in the shade Medium, and I like to use this to set my primers before I go in with foundation. This is a little trick that I have been doing for quite some time now, and I have found that it does help to prolong the wear of my makeup. So I'm just going to take a damp beauty sponge and just dip right into this loose powder and apply it all over my face to set my primers. Okay, so now that all of our skin prep is done, it's time to go in with foundation. Initially, I was going to use the LA Girl Pro Matte HD Longwear Foundation. You guys know I love this foundation. I have mine in the shade Cafe, and you can see I've literally been scraping the bottle of this too. But I have used this on my channel before, so I'm going to switch it up and use something different just because I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen me use this foundation before. So I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and I have the shade Brulee. And I actually wanted to use this foundation today because as you guys know, they did recently come out with new shades. I have tried this foundation before. I do know I already like it, but this is a new shade. I was previously mixing two shades, so I want to try this one to see if it will be a good match for me. So I'm just going to pump that out on a little Bath and Body Works top. Don't judge. And I'm just going to go in with my Morphe Y7 brush and apply it all over my face. Okay, so foundation is applied. I did actually end up going in with a couple of pumps of the shade Caramel, which is more of a neutral shade, because Brulee was looking a little on the warm side, so I felt like I needed to kind of balance it out a little bit, but the shade looks pretty good as far as a match. I was hoping I wouldn't have to mix shades, but it seems like with the Born This Way foundation, I always end up having to mix a shade or two to get my or close to my complexion. So we've got the foundation applied. Next up, I'm going in with what has been my absolute favorite go-to concealer lately, and it is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This concealer is bomb. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. You guys might be tired of hearing about it, but it is getting the hype for a very good reason. It is full coverage, it's lightweight, it's not over drying, it doesn't crease underneath your eyes. Like, this concealer is just all around a bomb AF concealer. So I would highly recommend it if you haven't tried it out. But I'm going to be using the shades Sand and Warm Beige. Warm Beige in my inner corner just to give me a little bit more of a highlight, and then Sand all over the rest of my face. And then of course I'm going to blend everything out with a damp beauty blender. So now that I have my concealer applied, the next thing that I'm going to do is apply my loose setting powders and bake my face. This is a very important step in my foundation routine because honestly, when I don't do this, I am an oily mess. Hot mess. So I always bake my face because I am oily. If you are not oily, you don't have to bake. You could just set your face and then move on. But for me, especially in this area, I apply a good bit of powder and just kind of let that hang out on my face to bake and set that area to control the oil. So I'm a little extra. I'm actually going to be mixing two setting powders. I have the Sacha Buttercup setting powder and then also the Too Faced Peach Perfect setting powder, which the cap of it looks like this. So what I like to do is dip into the Sacha Buttercup powder first and then dip into the Peach Perfect. and then go over all of the places that I apply concealer and set them in place. And then with whatever is left over on the sponge, I'm just going to tap it right underneath my contour area just to kind of start to define that area also. And then as you guys can see, right in this area, there is just a little bit of extra powder, but everywhere else is pretty much just set and ready to go. So I'm just gonna let this hang out on my face for a few minutes, and then I will be back to dust it off and finish up with the foundation routine. Okay, so I've been letting this hang out on my face for a little bit, so I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. blush brush. Excuse mine, it's a little bit dirty, but it's fine. I'm gonna go in and just dust off this excess powder, whatever is left behind. And you can already tell my face is getting snatched, like it's getting snatched. So now I'm going to go in and set my entire face. This is also going to help to bring a little bit of color back into my face since the baking powder has kind of washed me out a little bit. So I'm going to go in with the MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NC45. And I'm just going to pick this up on my Morphe E1 brush and apply it all over pretty much the perimeter of my face to set the areas that I did not apply the loose setting powder when I was baking. Okay, so that is pretty much my entire foundation routine as far as the actual foundation and concealer portion of what I do to get a flawless, long-lasting finish with my foundation application. But since we're here, I'll go ahead and finish up the face. I am currently filming this eye makeup tutorial. I'm using the Too Faced Pretty Rich palette, so if that is up, I will link it for you. If it is not, it's coming soon. But to finish up the face, I'm going to go ahead and contour. I'm going to be using the NYX 3 Steps to Sculpt Face Sculpting Palette, which looks like this. I have mine in the shade Light, and this was in my everyday makeup stash for the month of November. I haven't filmed a new video yet, so I'm still in the process of using the products from that video. So I'm going to, of course, like I said, use the contour shade, and I'm going to use this brush from Morphe. It's the M403 to apply it. So on a normal everyday basis, I would just stop there with the bronzing and contouring, but today we want to be snatched. So I'm going to go in with the NARS bronzer. This one is in the shade Casino. And as you can tell, it's a little bit darker. I'm going to be using my Morphe JH05 contouring brush. And I'm just going to apply this to the hollows of my cheeks to deepen up the contour. And then next up for blush, I'm going in with another product that is in my current everyday makeup stash. And it is the Sephora Blush Palette. This is the lighter one. They do have 2 shades or 2 versions. This one is the lighter one. It's just called the Blush Palette. So I'm going to use this matte shade right here and apply that to my cheeks. And for that, I'm going to be using this little polka dot BH Cosmetics angled brush. It came in a set. So I'm just going to use that to apply my blush. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the face. If you want to see what highlight I'm going to be using in my lip and all of that, you'll have to check out my makeup tutorial on this look, which will be coming soon if it's not already up. But I guess I can go ahead and set my face because that's important too. So to set my face, I'm going to be using 2 makeup setting sprays, which again is extra, completely not necessary, but I'm extra. So the first one that I'm going to be using is the CoverGirl Look Lock Up All Day Setting Mist. This is actually really good. It smells like cucumber, which is very relaxing. But I didn't think, I don't know what I thought, honestly. I just didn't think that this was going to be as good as it is. But this is actually very good for setting your makeup and keeping it in place. So I'm going to set my face first with this one. I also really like that one because the mist on it isn't like too intense. It's just like a nice little mist on your face, which I like. And then after that, I'm going to go in with the Model in a Bottle Makeup Setting Spray. This is the matte finish formula. And if you have been watching my channel from like way back in the day, you guys know I used to love this stuff. This makeup setting spray right here is serious. Like, it did not come to play. It's about to snatch your edges, lock you in place, get you right. If you do not have oily skin, I would not recommend this setting spray. It's not for you, girl. I would not recommend. But if you do have very oily skin, I would highly recommend this one. It is going to make you super, super matte and keep you matte throughout the day. So I'm just going to apply this right on top of the one that I just sprayed. And that is it. As you can see, I'm looking very flawless, very matte, which is the goal. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face, and then I'll come back and show you guys the final look and finish up the video. Alright guys, so as you guys saw in the intro, this is the final face. This is what everything looks like applied: highlighter, contour, blush, face set, all of that good stuff. This is what it is all looking like, and it looks really good. Honestly, my face is very matte, but it doesn't look cakey, it doesn't look dry, and it just looks flawless, but not overdone, in my opinion anyways. I personally prefer a very full coverage look, so depending on what your preference is, you can kind of tweak the application of the product to what you prefer. But if you are like me and you're someone that wants to be super matte but super full coverage and super flawless, then this is the routine for you. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. All my oily skin girls, we gotta stick together because the struggle is real out here in these streets. So hopefully my tips and tricks and sharing with you guys my foundation routine was helpful, and hopefully some of the products that I share with you guys you can start to incorporate into your routine, and they will be helpful to you as well with controlling your oil throughout the day. So thank you so much again for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or found it helpful. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in my next one.